Hey everybody, welcome back to another kind of abbreviated episode of Talking Cardboard. You can tell we just have 3 out of our 4. We've got John, myself, and Corey. And this is kind of our PAX replay because we just got back from PAX Unplugged in Philadelphia. And we're the 3 who went, so we're going to give a little bit of a rundown on each of our experiences.
Hey everybody, here we are again. My name is Corey, I'm with Talking Cardboard, and believe it or not, this is PAX Unplugged Day 1, and we are still in Minneapolis, Minnesota. And take a look at the time here. Yes folks, you are seeing that correctly. It is 1:44 in the morning. the morning of the first day of PAX Unplugged. I am running over to Church's house to pick him up, and then we're running over to John's house, carpooling over to John's, getting a ride to the airport, taking the plane out, catching another flight in Chicago over to Philadelphia, and hopefully making it for the opening of the doors for PAX Unplugged Day 1 at the Philadelphia Convention Center. So like I said, starting here bright and early, about 1:45 in the morning, in Minneapolis, Minnesota, and making our way later this morning all the way to Philadelphia for PAX Unplugged. So really excited, but really tired. And I don't know if this was a good idea taking this early of a flight or not. Some of us couldn't get work off for Thursday, so it was a little bit more difficult to work this. But at least we're taking the flight here Friday and getting to PAX for all 3 days. So we are excited about that. So maybe next time you'll see us here is at the airport. Maybe the next time is in Philadelphia. We'll see. But yeah, see you soon.
In case you guys didn't notice, we're wearing a little bit of swag that we got. Dumpstattees.com from Victory Condition Gaming.
Charisma's my dump stat.
Wisdom is obviously my dump stat.
I've got strength because it's red and I like red.
Yeah.
Not because it's your dump stat.
It might be.
But because he has no dump stat.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
So John and I were standing in line waiting for some macaroni and cheese, which was very good.
Really good.
Really good.
Which I got left out on.
You did.
Because he's at a panel. He'll probably tell you about it. Mm-hmm. So anyways, we saw these t-shirts and we got one for each of us. We got one for Kaylor as well, but he's not going to see this video, so it's still going to be a surprise when we give it to him. And you'll just have to see him wearing it, and it actually fits right in for him as well. So each of us 3 had a slightly different PAX Unplugged experience. Corey, we alluded to yours first, that you did not get one of these teas with the macaroni and cheese.
Yeah.
So what were you doing for most of PAX?
Well, I went to a couple different panels. Really fun, had a great time. Actually, John came with me to one of them. But the first panel I went to was by myself. I went to the Dice Tower panel. It was Tom, Z, Sam, and Eric. They did a top 7 unsung games. So basically games that were ranked 3,000 or worse on BoardGameGeek.com.
So pretty bad games.
Pretty terrible. Actually, I haven't heard of any of the games that were on their list. So for that, I was hoping the experience was going to be a little bit better. It was a little bit sour just because of that list, which is no fault of theirs. They thought it might have been kind of like the unsung games, kind of like games you haven't heard of, but you should try, and giving reasons why they don't think they should be ranked that low. So that was kind of interesting, but at the same time, I hadn't heard of any of the games. So for me, it didn't resonate as much, but it was still fun. Good to see the guys. Got a picture with Sam from the Dice Tower, which he just did his farewell video today too. So he's no longer with the Dice Tower. So that was a lot of fun. The other panel, John and I went to together. It was the Shut Up and Sit Down guys.
Yep, that was very funny. I've never listening to them or seen them before. They were awesome.
Yeah.
Do a very good humorous take on game reviews, and
I was surprised how well it went. It didn't really seem like they were following any specific script at all, but they were able to bounce off of one another, joke after joke after joke, and it was really funny. And they talked about some really cool games too.
Yeah, things I've never even heard of, like what was that first game?
Roads and Boats.
Yep, Roads and Boats.
Yep, Roads and Boats. Some other Splotter games too. Yep. Splotter is a big company overseas.
Buses. Yeah.
Yep, Buses. I want to pick that one up too. But some really good games that they talked about that I am looking to pick up and try, because honestly, if they didn't seem interesting to begin with, they made it sound interesting by their explanation. So that was fun. That was half of my experience.
Fantastic. So, John, when you weren't palling around with Corey, what were you doing?
Did a lot of stuff.
Eating
a lot
food?
of eating mac and cheese. If you couldn't tell. No, I did a lot of walking around through the expo area. I always find it interesting to see what the different companies are trying to kind of show off, and trying to take talk with some of the exhibit people. I don't know, exhibitors, I don't know.
Publishers and
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, granted, a lot of people there are either volunteers that have played a lot of the games, or may not necessarily be affiliated with the actual publishing studio, but they have a lot of good insight into the games that they're showing. They can give you quick rundowns on games. Even sit down and demo things with you, which I thought was really cool. And then I think the other rest of the time was that was important. I thought was spending time at the first look area. They kind of had some of the newer games out for people to try. It was super crowded, but we did manage to play a couple games we had been looking at, such as Deep Blue, and we also tried
Azul, the new Azul we tried
the new
before.
Azul, yep,
Which we will be reviewing later.
Yep. Azul Summer Pavilion. Both were fun. I thought you were there for Deep Blue as well. That's right. It was all three of us.
Yeah.
Which was fun. I
Super
thought.
light, but it was
Yep.
it was a good game.
Yep. What else did we play at first look?
What were you guys playing the whole time?
Crokinole.
Oh, the highlight of the whole thing, Crokinole, and we met the creator,
Mr. Crokinole himself.
Mr. Crokinole himself. Actually, we just ran into some random dude, and he claimed to be the creator. I do not think he was.
Well, it's
Very nice
created
guy,
in the
though.
1870s
Yeah.
in Canada, so I don't think so.
Yeah, very cool guy though. Explained us how the game worked. Basically, you just have this circular board with these little discs, and it's just like this wood board with some like
Pegs in the...
pegs in the middle or around the middle circle, and you're basically just flicking the discs and trying to either land them as a little hole in the middle, or you're trying to get them within. It's kind of like shuffleboard, where you're trying to get them in certain zones to score points. And really, the only caveat is that if someone's disc is on the board, you have to shoot at their disc until it's knocked off, and then wherever your discs land at the end is how you score points. So
That was the coolest part of it for me.
it was a really unique game that I did not expect to even try, because it's just nothing I've heard
How
of.
did we even get to playing it?
We walked by and there were tons of people there. I mean,
Gotta try
it was
it.
busy all weekend at these like 12 Crokinole stations.
It's true, it was.
But yeah, really fun.
We saw people walking around with those boards like they bought it. How expensive were those games?
They were $250 for like
$250.
the boards they were showcasing there.
Yep.
Well, another really cool thing about it, too, is it's just a wooden board, but when the discs slide, it feels like they're on ice.
Right, yeah. Because
they're all waxed
It almost
or-
feels like you're playing air hockey.
It does.
Yeah.
Yeah, really cool.
Or what was that game? Cross Shooter? That one where you
Oh,
had
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
I
the
know
little
what you're
beads.
talking
Kind of like that, yep. But that was definitely a highlight for me, too.
Yeah.
Church, what were you doing most of the time?
Most of the time, I was playing Keyforge. I did a sealed tournament my first day there. I went 2-1, and then I played in the sealed vault tour, and I started out 1-0, and I finished with 1 win. So I could blame it on the fact that I had to forfeit a couple of matches.
But why did you have to forfeit the matches?
Okay, one was because we went out to go get authentic Philly cheesesteaks.
Worth it.
Worth it.
Yes,
Yeah.
totally worth it. We had to wait outside for about half an hour before we
Worth
can
it,
even get into the little restaurant. Yeah, so it was Philly cheesesteak with whiz, and we had
Fried onions on
Fried
it.
onions, yep. Then we took it to go, and I ate mine before we even got back to the convention center. Mm-hmm. And it took us forever to find a place to sit down.
Couldn't even wait to have a family meal together.
No, because it was too good. And I wanted to get back to Keyforge and lose. Well, anyways, I pulled a bunch of really good decks from Worlds Collide. I've been trying them online on the Crucible since then. It's been a really cool learning experience, and I loved cutting my teeth against some of the best in the region. And best of all, I don't know if you guys realize this, but...
Oh my god.
You're wearing the socks.
Yep, I acquired enough Ember Shards where I could purchase, and you cannot check this out with your smell-o-vision, some Saurian House Keyforge socks. And I'm incredibly proud of these things because they cost me 100 shards.
Nope, you illegally purchased them with 98 shards.
They cost me 100 shards.
Those are pretty cool. I haven't seen those yet.
So, I just thought it was a great experience. It was fun to play Keyforge at a competitive level. It was really fun to win, but it also was fun to like have the energy of a Vault Tour style tournament. I just thought that was really cool.
So a question for you, how did that compare to like tournaments here? Because we have FFG, Fantasy Flight Games World Headquarters right in our backyard here in Minnesota.
Yes.
And you've played plenty of tournaments there. Did it compare at all, or?
It's just the level of care that they were putting into it. I don't know how the specifics I can get into, but it was a sealed tournament, so you had 3 decks and you picked one, but all the decks were pre-scanned. So even though the decks weren't assigned to you, they were all assigned in a bag. So you had one of those pre-scanned decks.
Okay.
So like there were so much, shell game going on where everything was above board and people were a lot more serious. But it was like really high energy too, which was really cool. We also bought some games too.
I picked up Azul, the Summer Pavilion. Nice new take on the classic Azul game.
3rd edition.
Yep. Never played the second one, but we did test this out at the convention yesterday.
Yep.
And it was pretty enjoyable, so I decided to grab it for pretty cheap. And we'll see how it goes the more we play it once we get Church and Taylor involved.
Seems a lot more interesting, a lot more going on.
Yeah,
than
a
the first
little
game.
more strategy based than the first game of just placing your tiles in the rows. And
Yeah, I'm definitely interested in playing this one more. I'm excited to play that tonight. And I picked up Maracaibo, the newest game by Alexander Pfister. Set it on top of there. One of my favorite designers, Blackout Hong Kong, Great Western Trail. I have a couple of his other games too, one of which I haven't played yet, Mombasa, but we've played Isle of Skye quite a bit. Isle of Skye is a great game too, and I'm excited for this one. Definitely on the heavier end, and definitely seems like it's going to be a heavy strategy game, so I'm very excited to try this, but don't know much else about it yet. And I think there might be an open table today, hopefully, at the convention center that we're going to try to get this played at the convention center. So
the best part about Sunday was we got into the convention center. We didn't really have a lot of time. We had to get our luggage out of our room by 11 and get to the airport. But we did get in there and we got over to Restoration Games.
Yeah.
And we're sitting there just looking. And the previous day we had been told they had sold out of the, what's the name of the
Wild
expansion?
Ride.
Wild Ride. And we were a little disappointed because this is something we've been looking forward to trying for a while. And we knew it's kind of coming up here in a couple months. And we got there Sunday morning. There's one copy sitting on their shelf, and we snagged that.
Kind of hidden too.
Yeah.
You pointed it out.
Yep.
So yeah, we snagged the brand new expansion to
Downforce.
Downforce.
Yep.
So that was really fun.
Yep.
That was
we have
cool.
to pull that out sometime too then.
Well, I noticed too. So like when we got there bright and early, when the doors first opened, I think that was Sunday was the only day we really did that.
Yep.
Yeah.
A lot of the publishers and game testers and employees at the booths were very adamant to want to get us to the table and teach us how to play their games. Whereas getting there a little bit later in the day, those previous days, you weren't able to ever find an open table at the booths to try the game. So we definitely could have rattled off probably 3 or 4 different plays bright and early.
Yep.
Doing it that way. So that would have been kind of cool, but we didn't have enough time.
Lesson learned for next time.
Yes. Yep.
And there definitely will be a next time because we got to bring Kaylor with us.
Yeah. So what do we think about Philadelphia as a city, the place we stayed, as a whole experience?
Definitely some lessons learned, I think, with where we stayed. I think for the convention itself, it would have been nicer to be in a hotel, either A, attached to the convention center for like max convenience, or B, attached to the convention center for max convenience.
Yeah.
We were about 12, more like a 15-20 minute walk away. It was just tough if we wanted to buy a couple games or something, ferry them back and forth, or if we wanted to go to dinner somewhere. Yeah, I don't know. It was just tough, and the place we stayed in was fine, but
And it was early December,
Yeah,
so you didn't want to be
it's-
walking outside
yeah.
a whole lot.
yeah.
Yeah, it really wasn't too bad. It wasn't like the walk was terrible, and
No.
we got to see some cool things and walk into a few
There was
places.
a Shake Shack on the way between the
yes.
convention center and whatever
Yeah.
in our place, so
Hey everybody, Corey here. I just wanted to take a couple minutes to show you the place we're staying at in Philadelphia for PAX Unplugged, and just kind of show you around the room and then bring you downstairs. I know the other guys just went down to get some breakfast, so yeah, let's take a look. Kitchen area here. A couple games we picked up last night. So yeah, this is day 2 of PAX Unplugged. Nice and early, bright and early. Just going down to get some breakfast before running back to the convention. So nice pre-war era building. Very cool Airbnb. Spotted a John in the wild.
Oh, the thing won't turn on, Corey.
Great.
I don't know. I can figure it out. It still isn't making the coffee.
Hey George.
Good morning.
But definitely in the future, at least for me, I think for both of you
Yeah.
too, stay inside the convention center at a place or nearby. When you buy games too, it would be easier to just jump them back to the room to store them and then go back to the convention. So,
We didn't do any real touristy things. We just went to get real Philly cheesesteak.
Just driving around and whatnot, you get to kind of see that old style architecture, which I think's kind of cool as a civil engineer, seeing things from a long time ago that are somehow still standing.
yeah.
So
This was our PAX Unplugged review. We've already got a couple other videos that are related to it. We'll have a few more because it was a great experience. So signing off for the abbreviated Talking Cardboard, for John, Corey, and myself, Jurch. Travel safe, travel light, and make sure that your checkout will allow you to leave your bags in the lobby instead of having to carry them into the convention center with you. Peace.